Once we're outside and being pursued by Fedra, then we can generally run through most of it. So, as you can see here, we can run through the initial area. Now, in the next area, there are two ways to run. If you want to be a little bit more safe, then turn to the left and run along this route. But alternatively, you can still run straight from the pipe into that hole. You will alert, but you shouldn't get shot. Either way, it doesn't really matter too much. And then again, up here,
I hear him up ahead.
you don't have to wait. We can sprint. The alert doesn't really matter. And then we can come to this shutter. Once you're through the shutter, the speed run strat here is probably the safest way through. But I will cover a couple of other options if you don't feel confident in it. So with the speed run, we want to immediately kind of run over here, duck by the police car, and then start running again. As you can see, we get a lot of soft alerts, but then we stop to regain our sprint and carry on running. And even though we took some damage here, that's not going to matter because we are going to be on low health in the next area anyway. Now, just to show that again, the area where I stopped, I think I stopped slightly too late on that version, which is why I alerted, but still made it through. If you stop just before the end of the barricade, it should give you time to regain your sprint without being alerted. So we're holding back and sprint to take us around tests, duck at the police car, and carry on running. As you see, this time they haven't alerted on us until it's too late. Again, we took one shot, but it doesn't really matter. The variations in terms of the chance of you getting damage are quite considerable, from like a fair amount of damage to no damage at all. But it is still the most reliable way through. You don't have to worry about these two soldiers at all, by the way, as they won't react to you even slightly. And then you are basically out of Fedra's jurisdiction. So, after this click QTE, there's a couple of things that I want to mention here. First and foremost, this puts our health down into the red zone. So if you've got a dual sense controller, you will see a red ring around the touchpad, indicating that you are on low health.
You all right?
It's nothing.
As tempting as it might be to heal using a med kit, there is no need to, as we will. If you are really worried about your health, then there will be enough snacks to pick up in this section to restore it. And equally, if you follow the strategies that I'm about to do, you shouldn't take any more damage until the point where your health is restored at the end of this chapter and before the Capitol building encounter anyway. What we're going to do first, as soon as the clicker is dead, we're not going to search the building. We are going to go straight up here to this triangle prompt and get Tess out the way. And there's a very good reason for this in terms of what loot we're going to find. So we're going to go back while she boosts Ellie up and in this room
All right,
here,
kid, you're up.
we are going to go to this cupboard to get a full portion of alcohol, and this one to get a full rag. Now, if we'd searched with Tess, then she would have got one while we got the other, and then said, here, patch yourself up, and that would have been our tutorial in order to craft a medkit. Because we haven't done it here, she will do it after the next main encounter, and that will mean that we end up with 2 full portions of alcohol and 2 rags instead of 1. So that's why we get it out of the way straight away. Now with this next clicker, it is entirely possible to simply run straight to this barrier and jump over and out of the way. However, if you don't want to do that, for example, if you're worried about your health and you want to get some more loot, then instead, if you've got a brick to hand, you can use it to kill a clicker like so. And then there is a snack there, another brick, and another snack, which increases our health. Now, as you saw there, 3 hits with a brick killed the clicker, like so. If you have the brick and run like this, it will knock the clicker to its knees, but it will not kill it, and the brick will break. So whenever you want to use the brick on a clicker, make sure you are stopped and flat-footed. In this next area, we're also going to pick up the revolver, and it's worth mentioning that a couple of things with this. First of all, the revolver is a one-shot kill on any unarmored enemy. On a clicker, it takes 3 shots, unless one of those shots is to its head. And on an armored enemy, it takes 2, unless you shoot around the armor.
Come on, Ellie.
It's one of the best guns for grounded difficulty in this game. The other one alongside it is the rifle.
Okay. We got a way through.
Which has the same properties and can be more powerful if upgraded. Now, with that said, it might be tempting to save the revolver ammo at this point, but what we're going to do, you don't have to shoot the revolver ammo within these next few encounters, but it's actually easier to get more revolver ammo if you go into the upside down hanging trap in Billstown with as few bullets as possible, even 0. When we get to that chapter in that video, I will show you what I mean in terms of how you get more bullets. But before then, let's go into the next encounter. There's a couple of ways to do this. So, if you're not too bothered about using the bullets, and I don't think you should be, then immediately run up here and then shoot the 3 infected that come. Brick the clicker, grab the bottle, smash it on the head of the runner, and then kick him to kill him. And then you can grab another brick, and you can grab
All right, come on down.
the melee weapon on the way out. And you've still got 4 bullets because you've just picked up another one before you leave.
With the girl.
In the event that you don't feel as confident doing that, then what I would suggest is instead drop and go around this way to grab this sleeping runner and strangle it. If for any reason you don't have a brick, you can pick up another one here. Wait by this wall. Grab this runner as it comes past. And then you can take your brick out. smash the clicker, and simply shoot the last two enemies. You can again get a fresh brick and a melee weapon. And an additional revolver bullet here.
I'm impressed, Joel.
Let's just get out of here. Tess, go.
All right, hold on. Here, this'll work. Give me a hand, Ellie. That should do it. See?
And then
All right.
there's another snack here. And this is the point that I was talking about where Tess will give you more medkit supplies.
Here, patch yourself up.
It's worth going into your backpack at this point just to make sure that the game sets your inventory to 2 and 2 rather than 1 and 2, which can happen sometimes if you just collect them too quickly.
Yeah, let's get to it. We get through here.
And the reason I haven't crafted medkits at this point is because if you do this right, you shouldn't have to. You should be able to leave the Capitol building chapter with 2 medkits, neither of which you've crafted, and enough supplies to craft 3 Molotov cocktails, because the supplies to craft a Molotov cocktail and the medkits are the same.
I believe it when I see it.
And we're about to pick up a Molotov in the next area.
Down here.
Now, it's worth bearing in mind, if you don't pick up the Molotov here and run past that for any reason, say you just completely miss it, then it respawns here. And if you don't pick up either of them, then it will respawn at the end of the encounter that is coming up. If you do pick up this one, then you can't go back and pick up the other one, as it will vanish. You can only pick up one. Or you can pick it up here. You can pick it up over there, or you can pick it up at the end of the encounter, which is what speedrunners tend to do, just because it takes less time. There's also a snack in the vending machine. Now, in terms of getting through this area, so what we'll do is we'll be holding forward. We'll move slightly to the left as we do. We'll equip our brick. As we get to this corner, we'll turn around. Throw the brick. And then keep walking where we're kind of hugging inside these walls. And then we should be able to get to the end. Pick up a fresh brick. Pick up our Molotov if we didn't before. And get out.
Over there. It's him.
Shit. We're almost out. Okay, Joel, you take point. I'll watch the rear. Ellie, no matter what, you stay right on his heels. Sure. You stay sharp.
I got it.
If you don't want to throw the brick to distract, then you still can walk through here. But instead of throwing, what we'll do is when we get to the doorway, we will go here, and then once we get toward the pillar, we will aim so that we're making less noise. And then we can sneak past that clicker. Again, pick up a Molotov. If we want to use a shiv on the clicker, then we can do. If we don't, then we throw a brick here. And that should lure it. Wait till it's gone past. And then use the ladder animation. While Tess is getting the ladder down, keep a close eye on the proximity of the clickers and climb up. Once you're out of the subway, there are 3 more infected before the museum, and you can sneak up to them and strangle them if you want, but it's just as easy to shoot them.
Watch your head.
Once you're inside the museum with the clickers,
I'm alive.
then
I'll make my
you
way
can
around.
simply avoid them as follows. So what you want to do as you come out here, once you're through the doorway, you can sprint for a moment till you reach the carpet, and then jog, and then throw the brick at that clicker as it starts to alert, and then run. Let go of sprint each time you get to the door, just to like avoid having a slow animation. Shoot the last runner, and then you're through. If that seems a little bit scary, or if you want to go for the shiv door, for example,
Tess.
then you can come over this way. There's an extra snack here. You can get the shift door. One thing to be aware of, where I just walked around because I was restarting checkpoints and I was free to walk there, you may need to wait at this area whilst the clicker that's in here is doing a scream, as it can sometimes catch you as you're in the middle of walking across this corridor. So just move relatively slowly and be aware of your surroundings to do that. But in either event, once you're over here, you can get the shift door if you so wish, and then from this door you want to throw brick to distract about here. That should pull the clicker away from the door. And then depending on how you feel, you can either crouch walk to it. Bearing in mind this leads to Joel opening the door very slowly. Or you can run as in the previous scenario. So what we want to do, pick up the bottle, kill the first runner, dive out the window,
Get this thing off of me!
and kill these runners. And if you do so, if you dive out the window before you've killed any other than the one that's grabbing Ellie, then you'll only have to deal with those 3. If you kill them while still in this room, 3 more will spawn and you'll have to kill them as well. So it just makes life a bit easier if you jump out the window first. You can either jump out the same window that I did, or you can jump out the other one. But as long as you've got revolver bullets to hand or bricks or bottles to hit them with, it shouldn't give you too much trouble. It's only if you let too many of them be around you and hit you, then you can take a lot of damage quite quickly. So just be aware of that and keep moving and use whatever weapons you have to hand to your advantage. Now, as you can see here, I'm going onto the Capitol building with no revolver bullets, but that's not going to be a problem because we're not going to do any fighting when we get to the Capitol building. And once we get to Biddletown, we will extremely replenish our revolver supply. Once you've picked up the rifle here, then we want to sprint Up to about here, start jogging, and then duck. And then what we're waiting for is we're getting past this little shelf. Start running.
Keep your head down.
And we can just drop over here and completely bypass all of Fedra. If alternatively you didn't feel confident running past the guys here, then one way to sneak past them would be to instead go to the left.
I got this. Stay with me, come on.
And as you can see, there's two guys coming this way. One of whom will come past. Position, what we want to do is sneak past. And then run around here. And again, it's much the same effect, just slower. As long as you start sprinting and don't let anything block your exit, then they will miss you in the first instance in most cases. And you have a bottle there in the case you want to feel more secure with that. If neither of those things is to your taste, then you can fight. If you, for example, did still have revolver bullets, you could use them.
I got this. Put him down! I got him! Cover the exits! Keep your head down.
In order to take out the enemies, because again,
Where the hell are you?
it's a one-hit kill as long as you don't shoot any armor, and it can be done fairly fast. This one guy here, the first one we killed, is the only one who has armor on, and we shot him in the leg to avoid that. If we'd shot him here, then he would have taken 2 shots to die. We can then come in here, grab that rag without going visible in the hole, duck when we go there, run again, duck here, and then if we've got a throwable, this becomes easier. If we don't, we can still do it, but having a throwable allows us to run straight past this guy. If we don't have a throwable, then when we do this, and again, just make sure you're not visible in this corridor. You can safely sprint here, but once you're in the corridors, duck down. If for any reason we didn't have a bottle to throw, then we can shoot him to stun him to much the same effect and carry on. And then the only other things to mention before we leave this chapter are you can simply run past those 2 enemies and on into the tunnel. They will give up the chase pretty quickly. And once Ellie drops this ladder down for you to climb up off the subway tracks, this is the second health kit. That means we are, having followed what we did earlier, we've got 2 health kits that we didn't need to craft, and we got the crafting supplies to craft 2 more Molotovs, nearly 3. And with that, we can go on out of the subway and to Billstown. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a like and consider subscribing to keep up to date with all my content. Like the video that's just popped up, which YouTube thinks you should watch next. This is a Patreon and member supported channel, so if you want to become a member and unlock custom badges and emojis, early access to my videos, and your name in the credits, then click the join button below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.